capital market. Before I came on live, something dropped in my mind and I want to share. This, since after COVID-19, this is the next best time to invest. I'll do a flyer and post it accordingly. Since after COVID-19, this is the next best time to invest. And what a time to be alive. So all the opportunities we were referring to that came during COVID, they are right before our very eyes. The only reason why we may be stuck is because the funds to now invest in these opportunities are all stuck up in other stocks that are losing. But you know what? This is not the time to sell what you have. This is the time to source for fresh funds. This is not the time also to take loans and go into debt. This is the time to manage to see what asset you have that you can liquidate to take advantage of the opportunities in the market. And if you watch the video I posted just before this live session, you will realize that indeed it will not take too long before all of this is over, because in the end, nations will negotiate, and every news of negotiation will get the stock market bouncing back up. But in any case, we've not seen the bottom yet. So we still keep watching. Hold your cash. Yesterday, towards the close of the live session, Adamu called in from Maiduguri saying he has money, he wants to buy African Prudential, United Capital, and so on. And I told him, hold on. The Nigerian market is going to feel the heat of what is happening globally. And this very morning, we're already seeing that happening. So hold your cash. Cash is king right now. Wet cash. And let's see what's happening. Today, I'm not going to talk too much. We're going to look for opportunities and see whether or not we wait till Friday or we start picking up some stocks from this moment. In any case, we will keep talking as we keep checking through, all right? By the way, the only reason why some of these stocks are not dropping yet is because so many other investors are invested in them for dividend sake, and we are in the dividend payment season. Whatever stock you sell now, you disqualify yourself from taking dividends. So you must be aware of this and be guided accordingly. With the 27 years experience I have in the stock markets, unbroken experience for 27 years, I can tell you we are in one era that we will soon, 3-5 years from now, be referring to, when if you bought Nvidia $1,000 in 2025 April, now your $1,000 Nvidia is worth $20,000. Watch and see. What a time to be alive. So let's go on to see first. We'll take a look at the top losers and top gainers. When you are in a bear market, you know that the top gainers are not always the strongest companies. So let's see what's happening in the Nigerian market at the moment regarding the top losers and the top gainers. All right? I'm going to be fast about this. We're going to be focused on our systems from now till Friday, because we want to sight opportunities and strike as the iron is hottest. Now, can you imagine that? The top gainer for today is NSL Tech, a penny stock under 1 naira, 49 kobo per share, and it's gaining 8.89% today. Sovereign Insurance, another very weak one, less than 1 naira per share, 0.99 naira. That's 99 kobo per share. It's gaining 8.79% at the moment. First Holdco, one of the strongest, you will say, gives a little bit of credibility to the top three. Number 3, 25 naira, 85 kobo, gaining 6.16%. Fourth top gainer is VFD Group. You understand why VFD is the top gainer among the top 4. 66 naira per share, gaining just 5.26%. This is a stock that has declared 5 bonus shares for 1. And if you buy today, you still qualify to benefit from both the bonus and the 2 naira 50 kobo dividend per share. Yet, it's not making a 10% maximum gain yet. That tells you that we have gradually stepped into a bear market Nigerian stock market. So do not be worried or sad for yourself. Do not get offended for any reason, because everybody else is now feeling the repercussions of one man's action, which is the President of the United States, Donald Trump. And I remember him saying tariffs are taxes on other nations that have been, ripping America off by way of the tariffs they charge themselves, and so America is retaliating with their own counter tariffs and so on. But the truth, like I said in the video posted earlier, tariffs are not taxes paid by the nation exporting. They are actually import duties or fees paid by the importer. I'll give you an instance. You all know Walmart, the giant retail store in the U.S. and in some parts of the world. Walmart may import things like coffee machines to display for sale in their supermarkets, right? And perhaps it's coming from China. Before this time, maybe it was selling for $45 per unit of a coffee machine. And then suddenly this tariff is slammed on Chinese goods coming into America. What happens? When the goods arrive, Walmart will eventually have to pay for the tariffs on those goods. Walmart is not a Chinese company. Walmart is an American company. After Walmart pays the tariff on those goods, Walmart will need to protect its profit. Therefore, that extra charge in the form of a tariff that they paid, they will split and share amongst the goods, which means extra cost on one unit of a coffee machine. So in the end, instead of paying $45, which it used to be before the tariff regime, now you may be paying $50 or even $55, depending on the ratio of distribution of whatever tariff that Walmart has paid. In the final analysis, who gets to pay for this tariff? It trickles down to the consumer. So the American public are the ones actually now paying tariffs. What does that do? Sudden inflation in America. And of course, when that happens, people will begin to look for cheaper alternatives. Therefore, sales by Walmart begins to drop. At the first result, they will find that when they compare 2025 first quarter result with that of 2024, there has been a decline in revenue because things have become more expensive. And when that happens, what do you see? Walmart will look for a way to protect profit further and not run the business into losses. Therefore, they will start looking at job cuts. And in the end, some people will have to lose their jobs. These are still Americans. So finally, job losses, inflation, all of those confusion put together with the stock market crashing, what do you have? The American economy could slide into a recession, which is a much more difficult situation for them to find themselves. So what could have been better in managing this? If you want America, because the argument is that he wants American companies now to manufacture more instead of getting this manufacturing done in China or anywhere else, Vietnam and so on. The problem is to manufacture one piece of an iPhone, for instance, one piece of iPhone, to manufacture this in America, it will cost about $3,000 plus as the retail price. By the time you fit in the cost of manufacturing and everything else plus profit. But this same iPhone manufactured in China, after everything, cost of manufacturing and profit is put on it, you can get this same phone for $1,000. That's the difference. Cost of production, cost of manufacturing too expensive in America and in Europe. That's why these American companies like Apple goes all the way to China to set up factories and of course make production of these items. The question is, if they produce in the US, iPhones will become more expensive and any other thing that is manufactured abroad. These are the problems. So the point is, why not carefully stimulate the manufacturing sector and revive, if you like, do a mini industrial revolution in the US, empower local companies so that the cost of production will be minimal to an extent. Then as you start getting this manufacturing going on in the US, then you start introducing tariffs so that while the products you are placing tariffs on and discouraging the American populace from patronizing is going on, you also have readily available alternatives produced in the US that can also match in terms of quality and of course pricing. That way you can wage a successful tariff war. In the end, it may not just be the actual plan of Donald Trump. He may just be doing all of this to eventually get the attention of nations to come for negotiation so that they can find a way to rebalance whatever imbalance the American government thinks they are getting from their trade partners. For me, even that as a reason is not enough to now cause all of these losses, because you listening to me who has invested in stocks, you have lost money. The biggest billionaires in the world are losing billions per day, and so there's so much turmoil all over the place. But you know what? Opportunity for us. And that's what we're going to look at. So the Nigerian market is going through this at the moment, and if you take a look at what's happening, so many stocks are tumbling little by little. Some are going into full bid. We are still watching. All right? So, do we have a caller? What are we buying today, Coach Alated King is asking. The question is, are you ready to buy today and see it drop tomorrow? If you are not, then ego war is what's going on between USA and China right now. Zenith Asura makes that contribution. In fact, it's not just between China and USA. I'm hearing the Prime Minister of Canada is also talking tough. And we see how it goes, because Donald Trump has made some comments that are not complimentary and sounds like words of bully, and the Canadian Prime Minister is not taking it lightly. So ours is to sit by and watch as this war unfolds. Zenith Asura says, I don't think China is ready to let up though. China has already done a counter tariff placed on the United States, even as US is threatening that if China goes ahead with a counter tariff, they are going to slam up to 50% tariff on China. So the war is raging and we are watching. What America does not really get is that China has established networks and trade relationships with a lot of superpowers, right? China has Japan with it to itself. It is working with Russia as well. China is also in alliance with Korea. So by the time things get tough and China feels they may not be able to supply products to the United States market, they have readily available allies to turn to do trade and investment deals. Okay, this is what America is missing, because they are fighting China at the same time they are fighting Canada, they are fighting Mexico. Even the European Union is being bullied and abused. So where does America turn to if the entire world turns against them? Right? Thank you very much, everyone. I need your contributions, and I'm seeing very, very engaging feedbacks here. Tuan Nguyen says, given the current market conditions, are there any stocks you would consider favorable to invest in now? Well, that's what we are looking forward to. Can you confirm which of the markets you are talking about right now? Let me be sure where to check. Let your questions keep coming in, and if anybody is interested in calling in, feel free. Can I tell you this? We are in the best of times. For anyone who is in paid employment, you are sure that you'll be receiving your salaries weekly or monthly, and that means there is still cash flow to come for you to take advantage of the current situation. Whether your stocks are losing or not, like I told us in the 8 p.m. broadcast to all members of the Net Worth Investors Club, hold on to your long-term dividend stocks. They will never fail you. These things are temporary. 19, it was worse than what we are seeing now, because the entire world was brought down to its knees. Businesses failing, everyone on their knees, people losing jobs, nobody able to go out. There was restriction of movement, and it all looked terrible. But you know what? Inside that American situation, for example, in the American markets, while you have stocks like Tesco, stocks like Walmart collapsing, talking about brick and mortar retail outlets, stocks like Amazon actually made more money. Why? Because they became so innovative to the extent that you could shop anything you wanted from Amazon sitting in your homes. So Amazon deployed the online sales mechanism. Everything you wanted on Amazon, you just click on your phones, be in your house, they will deliver to you right there. From groceries to frozen items to furniture to electronics, whatever you wanted. So Amazon made a lot of money during that era. While some stocks were collapsing, like oil stocks, because oil production suddenly was useless. Nobody was flying, nobody was driving, the entire world was on a standstill, and so even the oil produced had no buyers. Therefore, oil prices internationally crashed. Crude oil price crashed to about $35 per barrel. It was so terrible. So oil companies lost businesses, and of course, they laid off staff. While oil stocks were collapsing, everything tourism was also collapsing, because once people can't travel, all of those businesses begins to suffer. So you had airline businesses struggling, hotel businesses struggling, and then of course, parks like Disney World and all of those locations, all of their businesses were collapsing. But you know what? In the midst of that fear, in the midst of that very fear, stocks, stay-at-home stocks were making money. During COVID, I'm trying to cast your mind back. In case you were not in stocks, I need you to understand how this thing plays out. So you have a good understanding and you are confidently in the market, because when you are in this business, you are in it, and if you must make enough money, then there is nowhere to run to. So stay-at-home stocks like Zoom boomed. Zoom was selling for around $14 per share. During COVID, it ballooned to $400 per share at some time. Why? Because everyone else, corporate organizations, because of social distancing, the fear of COVID, everybody stayed at home and had Zoom meetings. We used to see some social media posts where people wear shorts but put on ties and everything and just sit down, have their meetings and go away. It looked funny, but Zoom was zooming away from $14 to $400. And then you have another stay-at-home stock like Netflix. That was when Netflix hit its all-time high, because everybody was relaxed at home. Even if you are working remotely and having your virtual meetings, once you are done, you could go onto your Netflix and be watching, couch away, relax, and so on and so forth. So all of those stocks, including those in the biomedical sector, because it was all about looking for vaccines to find cure for COVID. And so any company who gets any form of FDA approval for one stage of vaccine development, their stock price jumps. And then, of course, manufacturers of all of those medical equipment like nose mask, hand sanitizers, this temperature gauge, all of those things were booming. So you could still find, as bad as that market was, you could still find stocks to buy. Now, this is another opportunity. While the trade war is going on, which is going to affect most of the companies quoted in the US market that have their businesses outside America. There are some businesses that are actually located inside America and are manufacturing in America, whose stock prices may just positively be affected. But you know what? I've come to realize that I can't mention any stock from era to era without mentioning a stock like Amazon. That's because as long as humans exist on the earth, they must eat. And if humans must eat, then they must buy one thing or the other from Amazon. Even if every other place is closing down, Amazon is always up to meet up with your shopping needs. Be it any kind of shopping item you want, Amazon will deliver. And so, with the figures, now the fundamental metrics that Amazon is showing, having lost below $200, Amazon is a fantastic option. You just only want to watch to see how low it gets. But for me, as long as Amazon is already under $200, that's a fantastic entry price. The point is, you make up your mind to pick up these stocks and then stay as long as this will last. If COVID did not last up to 2 years before it fizzled out, then I don't see this lasting more than 1 year. So why not prepare and start, even if it's $50 or $100, you put into any good stock now, you will be amazed what happens. The other stock I was going to mention before I mentioned Amazon is Goodyear. They are American tire manufacturers. Mind you, because of the tariffs imposed on imported steel into America, it means that car manufacturers will increase their prices, the prices of cars manufactured in the US. You know what? What that does to the tire industry in America is that more people will now not be able to buy brand new cars anymore, and so they will rely basically on maybe pimping their cars up and changing the tires. And that means more sales for a tire company like Goodyear. The ticker symbol for Goodyear is GT. So let's take a look at these two stocks, Amazon and GT. By the way, I have a number 3 stock also to mention to you, talking about the international markets now. So pay attention and let's search what the position is with Amazon as at yesterday and what the prospects are like. Very soon we'll go on to the Nigerian market to see exactly. I want us to now pay more attention on the screens, and that's why we'll be going there shortly, because this is a practical session and you don't want to miss any part of it. If you miss any part of this, especially for those of our members in the US and Canada and all of those regions that do not have a comfortable time difference with Nigeria, never mind. This live session is being recorded. We will post it on my YouTube channel, and of course you'll be able to revisit them. Now, the information being shared here is going to be very useful for some weeks. That's why that the live session has passed does not mean that you can't refer to them and check back. Okay? So you want to check back and see, I need a lot of time to do most of these researches to now know exactly where to put money and be at peace. Personally, like I told our members in the broadcast I did last night, 8 p.m., I told them I am personally liquidating some of my money market assets so that I can take position in dollar-denominated stocks, right? So let's take a look at Amazon. What was the situation with Amazon yesterday? Amazon is listed on the Nasdaq exchange, and there we go. Well. Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday Amazon actually gained 2%. You see that? 2%, now $175 per share. But you know what? Pre-market trading is going on already, and Amazon is being traded already before the market opens at $180 per share. Forever says, bought Amazon today. Congratulations, Forever. That's a very good move. It will not be long if the market ever starts any form of recovery. Amazon should be heading to 200 without delay. In any case, Anybody who bought between yesterday and now, from the pre-market signals I'm seeing here, Amazon is already at $180 per share, meaning there is a 2% plus gain in pre-market and a $4.87 gain in total per share. So finally, what do we have before us? Opportunities to enjoy great discounts. Anybody who managed to buy Amazon yesterday, 175. But you know what? 5 days ago, Amazon actually dropped to, that's on April 7th. April 7th was just 2 days ago. This same Amazon dropped to 171. So it's almost looking like Amazon is not interested in dropping below, okay? It traded also at 165. So there was a huge spike to 182 before it dropped back to 175, right? So who knows? Any positive statement from the White House could see some of these stocks trying to recover, all right? So in the last 5 days, Amazon actually lost 6%. In the last 1 month, it's lost 12%. Year to date, it's lost 21%. So you want to take good advantage of the chances that this whole confusion in the international market has brought. That's why I teach my followers, don't be too sentimental with the political happenings and all of this. I would rather look for opportunities, because you know what? That's the mindset of the rich. The rich always finds a way to cite an opportunity where others see problems. So if you can calm down, take a deep breath, take it easy, the best money is made around this time. Zenith Asura says, are there risks ahead that could affect their viability? Which of them are you talking about right now? Okay, Fronessi says, I bought yesterday. Fantastic. I know I mentioned it. Was it yesterday? Today is just Tuesday. Okay, I think I mentioned yesterday, and some of you already bought. That's interesting. Okay, so the other stock I mentioned to you was GT, Goodyear Tire. They are the tire manufacturers in the United States, the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company, right? So let's see what happened with Goodyear yesterday. Yesterday, Goodyear lost 9%, dropped to $8.82, and then in pre-market, it's gained just 1% at the moment, even though the market has not opened yet. But taking a good look at the share price movement, the history for GT, it's not looking like a stock that does a whole lot in terms of share price movement. The beta is just 1.05. Beta, B-E-T-A, is one of the metrics used to identify how volatile a stock is. If it's one and under, it means it's not a very volatile stock. The price does not spike up or spike down that strongly, right? So GT is a stock I would rather not buy yet, because even though all of those things, it is only in the ideal situation that Trump sticks to this whole tariff thing and never budges. Then a stock like GT comes in. But for now, just keep watching GT and the situation. If the situation does not change and the world does not come to a compromise with Trump, then it will favor GT. For now, there's not much left in GT. So GT is just an example. Now, the next stock I will rate alongside with Amazon is Hims and Hers. Hims and Hers, right? Hims and Hers Health. That's it. And closed at $27.77. Okay? Now, in pre-market, I'm seeing it at 29. Another 5% gain before the market opens. Hims and Hers has dropped 19% in the last 1 month because of this whole tariff stuff, but yet in the last 6 months, it's gathered 51% profits or gains. And it's a sound, very sound company. Some of the updates about this company is that the revenue is $534 million in the first quarter 2025, right? And then, of course, you have the earnings per share for first quarter, 11 cents, okay? But most importantly, there has been an 89% gain in the price in the last 1 year. Some time ago, in this very month, it touched 29, and I think it's going back to 29 again. So we watch to see what happens with Goodyear. I mean, Hims and Hers. There was a time in March, just last month, Hims and Hers was $37 per share. So it was from this $37 last month that the tariff war dragged it down to about 28 here, and then went back up to 30 and 32, then dropped to the lowest in the last 1 month at 24. So some people might have bought this stock last week, 4th of April, at $24 per share. And at the moment, it closed yesterday 27, currently 29 in the pre-market. So let's go on to the Nigerian markets now, and let's see what's really going on with some of the stocks that we kept an eye on. I saw where a stock like Charms, our very beloved Charms, dropped to 1.90 kobo. Coach, what about Nvidia? Okay, that's from Kiddies Wear in Lagos. Okay, let's take a look at Nvidia, what the situation with Nvidia was between yesterday and now. Let's take a look. Nvidia is another long-term solid stock. Naturally, you see Nvidia, you see Google, you see Microsoft, have them in your watch list to buy at very good bargains. So look at that. Yesterday Nvidia was 97. It closed at 97, gaining $3, meaning 3% plus. As we speak now, current pre-market price is 101. Imagine buying Nvidia less than $100. That's cheap. That's very cheap. Because you can't talk about the future of technology without talking about Nvidia in the entire world technology stage. So this is an opportunity to buy Nvidia for less than $100. By the way, that is showing 101 in pre-market does not mean you can't still buy it at less than $100. Just take a look at yesterday's price, 97, and maybe bid at 97 or 95 plus. Or place 2 bids at 95.50 and 97.50. Somehow, some way, in the course of market opening and fluctuations based on what is happening in the market, in the economy, eventually news can come up to create some level of panic again, and some people can sell down to your own bid price, and you too could fetch Nvidia at under 100. And then watch how Nvidia, after months, when all of this tension is over, Nvidia glide above 100 to 150 plus. This is how you can actually make money in the stock market. So that's Nvidia. Then let's take a look at what other stock. Google. That's another very undervalued stock. You guys are tempting me now to focus on the foreign stocks alone. Well, what can I do? That's it. Google, otherwise known as Alphabet. Alphabet yesterday was at 146. Gaining just $1.15, but in pre-market today it's gaining $3.42 and it's at 150. So from 146 yesterday, it's now at 150 in pre-market. Nobody knows how high it can go or how low it can go, but take a look at these stocks. And yesterday we also talked about it. Somebody said, requested that for those of you who are at work and cannot be part of the live session, somehow, some way, somebody can take down some of these stocks being mentioned now on the international stage. And I repeat afresh, Do not miss the following in this BS session. 1. Amazon, hims and hers, Nvidia, Google, Microsoft. So the last one I want to check before we go on to the Nigerian stage is Microsoft. Right? Microsoft Corporation yesterday during trading closed at $357 per share, while in pre-market right now it's at 361. Closed yesterday 357, now 361 in pre-market. Fantastic opportunity to have some for yourself. For your information, it was 392 just late last month, 26th of March, 392, before the tariff war dragged it down to 357. So, what do we have here? I've mentioned all of those that you should pay close attention to. Why are we mentioning these ones? Because with these ones, your money is safer. They are not penny stocks. They are actually growth stocks. They are time tested and proven, and they are around their barest minimum that you can find in the last 6 months. That's how to view situations like this that is making others panic. See it as an opportunity to buy the best stocks at the lowest prices. Do you get that point now? Just came here and says, "Hi coach, I'm a newbie. What website will you recommend I buy from?" Just came here. Open your stock brokerage account for Nigerian stocks with Atlas Portfolios. Follow me on Instagram. Send me a DM. I'll send you the link. Then for foreign stocks, if you are based in Nigeria, go ahead to open a brokerage account on Optimus by Africa. Positioning yourself. But most importantly, you need knowledge. You need a community where you can get daily updates and also grow in your knowledge of the market. You know, risk comes from not knowing what you are doing. So we do not want you to invest blindly. That's why we share knowledge in our group. What you need to do is join the Net Worth Investors Club for free, a wealth community of nearly 2,000 members right now. Nigerians in the diaspora, Nigerians in Nigeria, including some foreigners, are part of that club. All for free, you join. That's my user handle on Instagram. Just follow me on Instagram, send me a DM requesting for the link to open your account and to join the Net Worth Investors Club, and I will do well to forward to you. The reason why I'm saying Instagram is because I am unable to do that here on TikTok. Too much DMs and yours can just get missing, and you really need urgent feedback. But on Instagram, I can respond very fast to you. And then for the club link on Discord app where we are, that app is programmed for the links to expire in a short time. So there is no current link now, and I'm not able to pause the live session to go and fetch that link. And that's why you need to contact me to fetch the most current link as at the time of your request. Okay? In any case, Maobi is our communications and information lead. He will be able to also guide you accordingly. That's him there responding to you already. The advantage of using Atlas Portfolios is that they are always part of our live session, and they always attend to any concerns that we have. You know, so it makes it much more interesting. If you are not following me, you are losing money, because if you knew me in 2020, you would have bought a stock called NACO for 2 naira per share, which is now selling for over 60 naira per share, and your 2 million naira invested in NACO then would have been now worth over 80 million naira in value. Aside from that, next month you'll be receiving 5 million naira as dividend from that investment. So knowing me and following me helps you take advantage of investment opportunities that can happen without your working like you are doing now to earn money. The whole idea is We earn money while working and then put some of the money we earn from the work we have done to start working for us. And when you start spending money that your money worked for you, you will really get to understand how sweet money is. You know, some people they feel something is leaving them when they spend money that they earned, right? Because it is not replaceable. You earned 100,000, you are spending it bit by bit and it's just going, and then you have 40,000 left, 30,000 left, at some point 15,000 left. You feel somehow, but compare that to the fact that you take that 100,000, put it somewhere, it starts working and bringing in money for you. You know how sweet the money you are spending from the money that is working is. That's what we're trying to do. Trying to replicate or recreate ourselves in the money we have earned for it to keep earning us more money. Please, is Access a good buy now? Actually, I really can't tell if Access is a good buy because we've not seen their financial reports. Every other bank has published their results and also announced corporate actions, dividend payments and all that. In any case, Access is back on to 21. It dropped to 20 naira today, having closed 20 naira 55 kobo yesterday. So we are now in the Nigerian market. Let's see what's happening with these stocks. I'm seeing some form of greens left, right, and center as the Nigerian market tries to recover. WAPCO has suffered a serious depletion, 72 naira down to 65 at the moment. WAPCO is down to 65 from 72. Maybe I should also take a look at what the bid and offer status is. 514,000 bidded for versus 2 million on offer. I see the reason. Zenith is doing a comeback from 45.50 to 47. Though the offers are more than the bids, 9.5 million on offer versus 6.4 million on bids. And I can tell you why, because at this point, these stocks have not paid their dividends that they have announced. So if you buy Zenith today, you stand to gain dividends from your Zenith Bank stocks. Very important, right? So that's the reason why some of these stocks are still where they are, holding firm and trying to weather the storm. There are so many dividend investors who cannot afford to just sell off right now and go home empty-handed. So it's always better, and this is why I tell all of my followers all the time, the best and most effective strategy is have some stocks for long term in your portfolio and have some for short-term trading. Now, at times like this, hold on to your dividend-paying stocks, no matter how low they get, while you sell off your short-term stocks and wait for opportunities to pounce on any serious bargain. But if your short-term stocks have gone so low, relax. Everybody is in this loss together. There are stocks I hold up till now, myself. There are stocks I hold that have lost. So you are not alone. But you know what? In the long term, eventually, these stocks you are buying today will never see losses again. That's the way it works, no matter what the crash that happens. And I'll give you an instance. I always tell you my entry price for UBA has been 7 naira. My average cost for UBA per share is 7 naira. So no matter how the market collapses from now, it can't get back to 7 naira. Meanwhile, the entire capital I spent buying those UBA shares, I have recovered in dividends since then. Much more than double what I spent in buying those stocks. Yet the value of the stock is still around 30 something naira per share, despite the little market crash that we are seeing. Aradel just stepped into the Nigerian market, the NGX, a year ago. So if Aradel drops below 500 as it is doing now, it's an opportunity to buy. After a while, when Aradel pays their final dividend and interim dividend, nobody will see Aradel below 500 or 600 naira, because the actual value of Aradel that you are buying at under 500 now is around 1,000 naira per share. But the market has not realized that value. You will come back to this video. Remember, this video is going to be downloaded and posted on the YouTube channel. If you want to see the YouTube channel, click on the link tree on my bio there. It will take you to all my social media handles. Anyone you want to go to for free, subscribe and be a part of what we are doing. This information we are sharing here now may be useful for the next 1 month. That's why every live session is a life changer, right? Does Access Holdings pay dividends? Terminal Toye Briggs. Yes, Access Holdings actually pays dividends, but they pay amongst the worst dividend ratios when you compare them to their peers. That's why they are lagging behind. Access Bank actually used to be about the same price with UBA, but today what do we have? Access is 21 or 20 naira, while UBA is doing 34, 35. Because the market will always reward good performance and punish poor performance. Can I still buy UBA and Zenith now clean? You actually can, but let's see. I don't know how Zenith jumped from 45 yesterday to 47 right now. And I thought you had bought Zenith before. UBA is at 34.90 right now. Just understand that if you buy now, the advantage is you will benefit from the dividend. But after the dividend markdown, these prices will really go down. Because for a stock like Zenith, you take away 4 naira from the stock price. That will be sending it to around 41, 42 or 43 naira. And if they do not immediately publish their first quarter result, which should be fantastic, because that is now what may possibly hold up the price a bit, then it may just linger around and maybe sell for less than whatever the markdown was. This has always been the trend. For a stock like GTCO that is paying as high as 7 naira, they are going to cut off 7 naira from the 66 it is right now. Take out 7 naira from the 66, it drops below 60. Right? So just be aware of these details. And then depending on market dynamics during the time of markdown or after markdown, the stock price either goes further up or down. Right? Okay. I have UB and then you just want to add more. Feel free, bro. Go ahead. Terminal Toye Briggs says Presco, Aradel, UBA, Zenith, Access Holdings, UCAP, Bua Cement, Bua Foods, I will hold for long. They are all solid long-term stocks. Please hold and hold them very tight. For instance, do you know that Presco, I failed to inform you guys, Presco has declared a 22 naira dividend per share. Is it 22 naira? No, 42 naira dividend. Maobi, remind me, what did I post in the group this morning? Was it not 42 naira per share? Awesome, awesome dividend. Presco, 42 naira per share. But you know what? When the market is crashing now, everything will suffer. So even the Presco, just imagine a 42 naira per share dividend paying stock crashing. Isn't that a bargain? And there was nothing wrong with the operations of the company or the fundamentals. Yes, my people are here reminding me right now. 42 naira per share, 42 naira per share. That's how solid that company is. I sang this song severally in November, and some people were smart enough to buy at 400 and something. So even at 400 and something naira per share, some people still bought Presco. Is there anyone who bought Presco at 400? Indicate for me. I'd like you to come up and tell us. I want to ask you, why did you buy Presco at 400? Remember that it's not an oil and gas company. It's not a bank. It's not a telecoms company. Why did you leave a stock like MTN at 200 and something and you went ahead to buy Presco at 400 and something? Tell me why. Because whatever led you to accept when I mentioned it has proven your decision to go ahead correct. You are getting a 42 naira per share dividend in a down market like this, and Presco is currently at 700 and something. I don't know if it will drop to 600, because that's the next target for me. If I want to add more Presco, then I will be wishing it drops to 600. I got Presco at 450. That's from Alerted King. Alerted King, I'd like you to come up and enlighten our followers. Listen, we are in this for the long term, and if you are able to take this information, just the way now Aradel is now 400 and something, you can imagine Aradel that has gone ahead to buy all sorts of assets, from the Shell assets that has gas facilities to the latest one. I've not gotten the full details of that, but you know what? Whatever you buy, as far as Aradel is concerned, you are buying very cheap. Maybe one of these days I will go through that report, that valuation report, and come up with some key updates regarding this Aradel. Because if you are following me and you don't have Aradel and you are just watching by, you will be amongst those watching us as if you just came when Aradel will be selling at 1,000 naira per share. Okay, let's see. Maybe Alerted King is at work. Presco was highly recommended. You spoke highly of it. I bought at 425. You see, Walk Tall even bought 425 per share. Let's see what's happening with the other stocks in the market right now. Presco, you can imagine, 714 naira now per share. So we are waiting for this market to dip it below 700, and let us see, 431,000 on offer versus 96,000 on bid. This thing is looking more and more interesting. I am just waiting. I'm looking at Aradel at 470 something or something like that, and I'm wondering, I say, wow, can money be this cheap to make? Now you know that money is easy to make, right? So Presco is 740, closed at 785 naira yesterday, now 714 because of the market crash, yet the fundamentals are fantastic. Okay? All right. Someone is asking a very important question. Let's see. Which is more correct? Aradel price on investing.com is 457, but 490 on Meritrade. AS is asking. These are the reasons why you don't follow investing.com if you want real-time prices, because they are an American firm, an American online investment publishing firm, and so finance publishing firm. So they may not get direct, because they don't have direct link to the stock exchange. This is where you get the correct price. Currently now, Aradel is at 447. So none of the two is correct. Meritrade is showing you delayed data. Investing.com is showing you delayed data. So if you place a bid based on what you're seeing on investing.com, you are going to be paying more. Currently it's 447. That's why we use a platform like this, so that we are not shortchanged. Lily One's Interiors already gave you that update. Interesting. Okay. I bought to few. Good. Alerted King said, okay, I've read that. I'm on the Presco train. Yes, I did buy. Interesting. Okay, so let's keep going. Which platform one can buy shares? NOSA One. So, what stocks are you talking about now? Foreign or local? Please, what platform is that? This is Atlas Portfolio's trading portal. Is MRS not giving dividend to their investors? I didn't hear about any dividend from MRS, but why not? So I can't tell exactly whether or not they are paying dividend. MRS. Let me wait till Friday before buying UB and Zenith. It may drop. Maybe. Okay. Which website are you looking at, sir? King Musa. King Musa, I'm looking at, it's not a website, it's a web portal of Atlas Portfolios. A stockbroker I use and always recommend. Is MTN a good buy for long term? They seem to be on free fall. Free fall? Let's see what's happening with MTN today. I know yesterday it fell. Today it's still falling. 226 naira per share. Okay, so what happened yesterday was that there could be a muted purchase going on in MTN. Why? 452,000 shares traded. And I'm sure they've been trading it for less than 100,000 units quantity. If they do that, the price will not drop at this low price it is selling for now. It will still close at 245 like yesterday. I saw it selling very low yesterday also, and yet it closed at 245. So someone is most probably a deep pocket is quietly buying up, stacking up MTN shares and does not want it to drop below the 245. So he buys intraday at 226, 224, and they've wrapped up 462,000 shares, which is worth about 102 million naira. We know these things when we see them. So that's what is going on with MTN. Very good to buy at this point right now. If it is not dropping below this in this market turmoil, then it may never drop below this, but you never can tell. Now let me tell you one thing about the beer market. If the market continues to remain weak and there is no serious revival, the longer this confusion in the international market stays, the deeper the drop will be even in the Nigerian market. I need you to understand the dynamics. If any good news comes up, then you are most likely going to benefit. But if you buy now and this thing lingers, there seems to be no end in sight, then what you will have is the market dipping further. And as more companies pays off the dividends and marks down, further dips will happen. That's why if you see a bargain today, tomorrow it may not be a bargain anymore. And that's why you need to exercise some level of caution. And I think this is the time to go back to the qualification dates and payment dates for these dividend paying stocks, because they are the ones currently holding the Nigerian market together. The moment they pay dividends, people will hands off. Coach, what's going on with Dangote Cement? Okay, let's take a look at Dangote Cement. But I can tell you, you see, MTN has moved from 224 to 226. This was the price it traded for yesterday. 226 right now. So if you are buying MTN, maybe you buy some at this price and hold on. So the way to play this market, especially this down market, is not to go all in because you have the cash. Buy some and hold on. Buy some and hold on. So if you buy some now and watch to see if there's going to be any further dip, then you go ahead and buy again. Otherwise, you still hold on to see how low they go. But the important thing is you do not want to lose out completely. For RDL, for instance, buy today's dip now and hold on. I know perhaps because the dividend payment date is still far, people feel they have time. So they sell and hope that it drops further for them to come buy more, cheaper, and still benefit from the dividend. That's what's happening with RDL now. But if RDL publishes their first quarter result, you won't see RDL at that price anymore. All these things behave like crops. Some plants germinate very fast. We have the likes of livestock doing that. We have the likes of honey flour doing that. But some takes time in the ground. Just like the bamboo tree. The first 6 years, you don't see it anywhere until it sprouts on the 7th year and becomes something else. So that's how some stocks behave. When some money bags are accumulating, they don't let it fly until they are done, right? Okay, so that's where we are on MTN. Then, Coach, what platform are you using? UI is asking. I'm using Atlas Portfolios platform. Atlas Portfolios is a registered stockbroker in Nigeria, and their web portal is much more efficient with communicating you with real-time live data. Alfredo says, is GTCO a good buy this week? The question now is, how long will the market dip? The longer it stays, the cheaper some of these stocks. Adetoye says Aradel is a sell. It has a downward trend. Well, I don't know if you are a trader and you bought Aradel to trade, then you can follow that. This is what we need to understand as well. If you are buying a company, you buy it for the long term. You don't bother about initial price fluctuations, right? That's the point. So that's the way to look at this. Some places you will see recommendations. The question is, what is the criteria for the person who did the analysis and is doing the recommendation? You want to be sure that it matches your own criteria for getting into a particular stock before you act based on that. That's why we ask everybody to find a way to determine their own strategy after you understand the way things work. Because some people don't know when they read the headlines that say the American market 6 trillion naira wiped out. Wiped out to where? That's the question. They didn't burn money. They didn't destroy money. They didn't pack the 6 trillion and throw it into the ocean and got it all lost. No. That 6 trillion that they say was wiped out was actually from someone else to the other. Because if you put your stock in the market, nobody buys, it remains with you. So what is the actual value that got missing? Nothing. People just exchanged values, that's all. But the actual thing that has happened is when one person decides to sell at a loss, some other person has bought at a discount. So the person who bought at a discount now holds the new value in the future. That's what we're doing. We are practicing real-time wealth transfer. So this is the time for wealth transfer. I hope you are ready. Even if you are taking unawares, now you know that we are in a wealth transfer season. All you need to do is set money aside to begin to play this wealth transfer game. All right, so on to bargains. We'll begin from the top. I can tell you, yesterday, Adamu said he had money to buy African Prudential. Should he buy or should he hold on? I say, hold on. If Adamu can hear me, look at your African Prudential you wanted to buy around 14 yesterday. It is now 12 naira 65 kobo. So I have saved you money by advising you to hold on. Can I tell you, there's no perfect analyst anywhere in the world. Why? Because you are dealing with the emotions of all kinds of people, including one man in the White House who has decided to go ahead with his team on this tariff war. Everything that was perfect in terms of our calculations. The best analysts in the world in JP Morgan in the US and all over the place. All their calculations, permutations, and analyses have been thrown into the dustbin because of one decision. But you know what? We will now go back and use this that looks like a crisis to our advantage. That's why you need to keep following to take advantage of opportunities. I told you we will make money this year. This is one way we can actually make money this year. Kill the fear. All those who were afraid in 2020 when COVID struck and sold off their stocks never got them back at the price they sold them. And most of those people are still alive today. It didn't take up to 2 years before the world recovered from COVID. This is nothing near the COVID experience, I can tell you for free. And this time, you now have somebody and a group of people in a community that can keep telling you what's good and what to do. We are in very wonderful times. Start believing that. Remember, the wealth mindset of the rich and the poor are different. Remember, most of you who has been a part of my live session, at least in the last 3 months, you can recall that the rich see opportunities, the poor sees problems. this is the time to activate that rich mental file in you and discard that poor mental file. Many people lost in the stock market out of fear, nothing else but fear. Do you know what? Every loss is on paper until you sell. Write it down. Every loss is on paper until you sell. Let it sink into your mind and your entire spirit that every loss is on paper until you sell. And for your long-term stocks, stick to the strategy. Why? Tony Elumelu is not selling his UBA shares. He is already booking his 12 billion naira as dividend that will come to him. In this final dividend, they are going to be paid. Jim Ovia, the founder of Zenith Bank, current chairman of Zenith Bank, he is not going to sell his Zenith Bank shares because international market is crashing. It is you who has so little that is going to sell yours out of fear. And when you run out of fear, you sell at a loss, somebody picks it up, and when the market recovers, the person takes the profit that should be yours. Jim Ovia is now programmed to collect his, Jim is 25 billion. His his dividend coming to him based on his direct and indirect shareholdings of Zenith Bank is 25 billion. Tony Elumelu is 12 billion from his UBA. Hold on to what is yours. Let your dividends keep coming. If they pay dividend in COVID, I don't know when they can't pay dividend anymore. So sometimes you use the dividend received at times like this, and if the stock price has gone lower than you bought, then go ahead, use your dividend to compound, buy more. So that wherever the craziness going on in the market normalizes, you just jump into more profit. And you know what? When you buy the stock you already own, you are actually increasing your final dividend payouts. Because if you increase the number of shares you own, for instance, in Zenith Bank right now, the dividend you will receive for holding the previous quantity is going to be less than what you will get when they pay dividend on the new total quantity. So compound your earnings when the market drops. Like I said before, since after COVID, there has never been a better time to buy stocks than now. This is the next best time since after COVID. So let's go on. So African Prudential now 12.95 kobo. Will it go further down or not? Nobody knows, but this is a good time to pick a little and stand by, hoping that if it drops further, you buy more to lower what price you bought it today. That's the logic, that's the idea. Because if anybody comes to tell you, look, I can tell you how much it will stop and reverse, they are lying to you. In fact, that's a red flag, be careful. Some people in their bid to impress you will be telling you lies just to make you feel like you are listening to a guru. There is no guru, nothing. You see Warren Buffett has been celebrated all over the place. Warren Buffett, as at the time he was selling his Apple shares and people were laughing, I also posted about it that if he had delayed 1 month before selling the chunk of Apple shares he sold that time, he would have recorded about $600 million gain. But you know what? As at the time he sold, immediately after he sold his Apple shares, 1 month later, Apple gained further. And when I checked the difference, that was $600 million he would have made more if he had waited just 1 month. So nobody is perfectly right all the time. But you know what? In the long run, you will find that you made the right choice. So that time, it looked stupid. Why is he selling his Apple? He has sold Apple and then suddenly Apple jumped. Has it happened to you before? You were holding a stock for a long time and then you got tired for whatever reason, and the moment you sell that stock, the stock price just wakes up as though they have been waiting for you, and it feels like my village people are really after me. So if it has happened to you, welcome to the club. It happens to Warren Buffett as well. But know what? Now everybody sees the man has seen that perhaps the US stock market is overpriced, something can just happen, or he was really about the character of Donald Trump. You know, Donald Trump started shouting, I will slam tariffs, I will slam tariffs. Buffett must have taken that statement very seriously and went back to make decisions, knowing that the moment tariff war begins, the market will collapse. Exactly what we're seeing now. You know how much he has? Cash pile waiting to spend $335 billion. He can now decide to cherry pick. So in our own little way, that's what we should do, right? Coach, after dividend paid and marked down, if I buy more, when will I get dividend for the new units? Immediately after the first dividend, after the last dividend, the next dividend. So if we are talking about these banks like Zenith, GT, UBA, and so on, that pays dividend twice, right? After markdown, this year, you will still receive dividend around October. September, October, these people will pay dividend. So any company that pays dividend twice a year, you will receive dividend in May or April. April, May is dividend season. September, October is dividend season for those companies that pays twice. So if you buy more of these stocks after dividend payment for the full year 2024, the first quarter, the first interim dividend for 2025 will be paid in September, October. And whatever you buy between now and then will also qualify. In fact, even after they announce the results, that's when they will now say, this is the qualification date. So you can actually qualify after they announce it, because in the course of announcing the dividend, they will now mention the qualification date. In any case, buying after markdown is always better, because by that time they're announcing it, it must have increased a bit. So that's the way it works. Because between when they mark down and that time when they announce the first interim dividend for 2025, there must have been the first quarter result and the second quarter result. Remember, second quarter is half year. First quarter ended last month. So by next month, most of the first quarter results should be coming out. That's part of what also props up prices, right? So that's the way the stock market works. Okay, quickly we go on to the system. After African Prudential, we have Aradel, 447. What a bargain. In fact, Aradel is on full bid. It's on full offer. Now, 1.8 million shares being offered for Aradel versus nothing for purchase. Meanwhile, 352,000 shares have been traded, amounting to 157 million naira. So some people are buying and keeping quiet. Because Aradel is now not on being bidded for, I will say don't buy Aradel today. If I were you looking to buy Aradel, I have seen full offer here, I won't buy Aradel. I will hold on till tomorrow. I want to see a bid here before I can go and buy Aradel, because at this rate, Aradel may sell lower than this tomorrow, and that gives me another opportunity to buy it cheaper. So this is the reason why we say hold on to your cash, watch closely, carefully. This time you want to strike almost as perfectly to the bottom as possible. So do not buy Aradel yet. Tomorrow you can still buy Aradel at this price, even if there are offers. I mean, there are bids. But there is a chance it could get cheaper even tomorrow. So you hold on. That's for Aradel. But if you feel like, wow, this thing is too good to be true, let me know, wait till tomorrow and then it jumps. Do not use all the money you wanted to use to buy Aradel. Buy some, still hold some cash. The other stock that has been on our radar is Bua Cement. Now, Bua Cement continues to trade intraday at a lower price, but closes the day back at 83 because a 100,000 units transaction was never completed. By the way, there is still serious interest in Boa Cement. I'm seeing 493,000 shares traded today. And by the time today's trading closes, you will still find that it will go back and close at 83. So you are constantly able to buy Boa Cement at this current discount now, 75 naira 90 kobo, right? There are 33,000 bids for Boa Cement, by the way, versus 3 million offers. Okay, that's for Boa Cement. So if you want to buy Boa Cement, well, 75 is a good entry, barring any unforeseen circumstances. And then the other one, Charms. Charms has fought with all its life to remain above 2. But like we said, when there is a bear market, it is the penny stocks that suffer the most. There is only very little it can do right now to continue to stay above 2. So, Charms currently at 1 naira 89 kobo. 4.7 million bids, 7 million offers. And it looks like the offers, definitely because it's more than the bids, you want to hold on for Charms, just in case it can be even more affordable between tomorrow and Friday. Remember, if the market does not show any reasonable sign of recovery between tomorrow and next, Friday will be the most fantastic bargain for 2025 so far. I have not seen the market this low this year. You know, it might have been this low last year, but not this year. So if this current trend continues and there is no major progress between tomorrow and next, then be sure to get the best of bargains on Friday. It may also reverse on that Friday. You never know. So you want to always be on the alert. That's for Charms. QTix have been dealt a massive blow, but QTix is struggling to stay, and it will not be easy, even though it's a penny stock. It's not going to be easy for QTix to collapse below 2. Currently at 2 naira 37 kobo. It's losing 2 kobo from yesterday's 2 naira 39 kobo. And the bid and offer status 11 million offers versus just 4 million bids. But you see QTix, I think waiting till Friday will help. For I feel that all penny stocks, you have a chance to wait till Friday, the main discount bargain day, to buy them, right? So that's about QTix. Dangote Sugar, I knew it will not be able to remain at 33, right? So Dangote Sugar is at 31.85 right now. 31.85, Dangote Sugar. And normally, in a normal circumstance, 31 is a good price. In fact, when the market was okay, Dangote Sugar at 36 is okay, because it usually goes between 36 to 40 on a regular basis. When it touches 36, it doesn't go below 36, it goes to 40. But with the current trend, there's sufficient fear to drive the price down. That's why we are having it at 31.30. Stock is, should any news about the merger arise again, 31 becomes a bargain, because I can tell you, no matter how terrible the financial report of Dangote Sugar Refinery was, at 30 naira per share, it's a good entry price. It's a fantastic price, because all of the losses of 2024 is now gone. So by the time they print their results for first quarter 2025, it is surely going to be better than 2024's first quarter. And you know, the market always has this reaction when they notice a stock has done better than it did last year. Maobi says, Coach, DJT needs to add you to his economic team. Without there, the market will never panic. Okay, with you there, the market will never panic. Well, let him do what he likes to our advantage. I would want us, as we're here now, to benefit from what looks stupid. I remember discussing it with you, the mental wealth files of the rich, how the rich act differently from the poor. So everybody else is running helter-skelter there, but the poor, the rich, is seeing opportunities. That's the point. Where is that? Rich people focus on opportunities. That's the wealth file number 5. Rich people focus on opportunities, poor people focus on obstacles. So while the rest of the poor out there are focusing on the obstacles of there is a market crash, sell everything and run away, we are using the mental wealth file of the rich, which we have reinstated in us, to see opportunities in the market. So sometimes God can push anybody to do something that looks stupid just for your sake. And so for our sake, we are taking advantage of the opportunity. Coach, what is your advice on crypto assets going down? Well, because I'm always a passive investor in crypto, I feel the fluctuation in the crypto market will only affect traders negatively. Who is a trader? The one who wants to sell at very short notice to take profit because the money is short term. And if a trader who has lost massively in crypto currently can hold on to that money, they didn't borrow that money, they are not under obligation to sell off and bring out the money, I will advise that fellow to stay there. Because this same government will favor crypto. Very soon they'll come out with pronouncements about crypto. Remember, Donald Trump said he wants to make the United States the crypto capital of the world, and he really means it. He has already had meetings with some crypto juggernauts. So if crypto is dropping, this is the time to buy crypto as well. That's the point. What he's doing is even worse for stocks, yet we know that stocks will recover. Then this is a man who also has fantastic plans for crypto. And then this is the time to buy the crypto that people are running away from. Just be a long-term investor, and every other thing will sort itself out with time. That's my advice on crypto. If you are not following me, you are losing money. Now that's reminding me now to go back and check if I can top up some of my crypto holdings, right? Because wealth transfer is real, and wealth cannot be transferred to be fearful. There is this stock market parlance, they always say, be greedy when everyone else is fearful, and be fearful when everyone else is greedy. When stock prices are jumping, that's when to be fearful. When stock prices are collapsing, find a way to now be greedy so that you do your little research and secure the best of them at that low price, because they will surely bounce back. I hope somebody's getting something. If you are getting something, say right on coach, right on coach. Come on, go ahead and type, say right on coach, right on coach. Engineer Yemi on Instagram says, Coach, you made mention of tip. Is it a good buy now? Okay, tip. Yes, you are correct in the spelling, T-I-P. Let's see what the situation is with tip. I've always said tip under 3 would be good, but when the market crash happens, you may be lucky to see it under, tip under 4 is good, but when the market crashes, you may be very lucky to find it under 3, which will be fantastic. So let's take a look at tip. Tip is currently 385, and you can see that even tip has developed some level of resistance that is surprising me. It looks like the market has suddenly realized what tip carries. I remember in November, just 4 or 5 months ago, tip was selling for 1 naira 90 kobo. It will get to 2 naira and fall back to 1 naira 90 kobo, drop to 1 naira 80 kobo, go to 185, manage for a long time touched 2, drop again. It just kept struggling. But since after they published that result, the rest of the world can now see what TIP is doing. Look at a market like this where even bigger names are collapsing. TIP is at 385, refusing to budge. That was the closing price of yesterday, remaining the same. And take a look at the bid and offer status. There are more bids for TIP up till now than there are offers. 1 million bids versus 750,000 offers. So TIP is gradually becoming a force. That fight that Champs could not fight, TIP is waging that war so successfully already. I have said it before, maybe I should repeat it again. I am having a strong feeling that TIP may just be in the next 5 years something close to what NACO has done. It may not be exactly that high, but may not be just in 5 years, but I can tell you TIP is on that journey. So what you should do now is put down TIP as a permanent target to pursue every time you see it at the cheapest prices, while keeping an eye on the quarterly results. As long as they continue to publish very good performances quarter by quarter, stick to TIP and grow your TIP in your portfolio. Okay, I see your write-ons and I'm writing on already. Thank you very much, everybody. Coach, what type of crypto can I invest on a long term? I want to start it. My blood is boiling. Clean. It seems to really be fired up with all of this. Well, 3 cryptos I own currently. I personally consider Bitcoin overpriced already, even though it will still gain, but I don't care about how high it goes again because it's too expensive. It's already saturated. People have made the money in Bitcoin. The other cryptos I have are XRP, because I trust the fact that they are going to have very good potentials to grow more. XRP, Solana, ADA. XRP, Solana, ADA. Then if you are looking for something expensive, you can go for Ethereum to add to what you have. Okay, so that's it. Please, what is Atlas WhatsApp number? Nikki ma'am, I do not have it. Maybe anybody who has it, or if Atlas is online, we can have them supply us. Please, which app can I use to invest in the stock market? Go with Atlas Portfolio, sir. It doesn't have to be an app, but you can use your phone to do it. Adeoye Felix says, Coach, can we buy VFD now? Well, I saw how people were playing with that VFD and allowed it to drop to 65, but it has gone back to 68. Please, if you have money to buy VFD, buy now. Nothing can be so sweet as to see 5-for-1 bonus, no matter how low they mark the price down. VFD currently still available at 68. Imagine, some people actually bought at 62 today. I saw it being sold at 62, but suddenly the market has realized that, come on, give me some VFD if you're not interested. And 4 million VFD have been traded. Suddenly there is fewer bids. There is fewer offers than there are bids. 1.1 million bids versus 612,000 offers. So go ahead and buy your VFD because they will soon clear it. Let me refresh to see. Well, 610,000 now versus 1.1 million bids. So over to you. Buy your VFD and enjoy the 5-for-1 bonus and even 2 Naira 50 Kobo dividend. All because the market is in a turmoil. So people who should collect 5-for-1 bonus are actually releasing it for you to sell. It's supposed to be a full bid, but it's not still available. So you can buy. I'm from Cameroon. Can I invest in the Nigerian stock market? Seraphim is asking. Seraphim, You can only invest in Nigerian stock market if you have a Nigerian bank account, because the Nigerian market is actually um, naira denominated. Okay, so if you do not have a Nigerian account, then it will be difficult for you to invest. So confirm if you have a Nigerian bank account. We have Lucky God Bless on the line. Let's hear him. Hello, Lucky.
Greetings, sir. Can you hear me?
Very good afternoon, loud and clear. Please tell us your name and where you're streaming from.
I'm God bless. I'm Lucky God bless from Delta State.
Okay, welcome from
Yeah.
Delta. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I'm calling in respect of the stock I bought earlier. So I bought a ARA there at a price of 514 naira, but as we speak now, it's below 400. No, it's below 500. So I'm asking if I should buy more if I are privileged to have some money.
Yes, and I analyzed Arabelle and saw that there was no bid. So I said, wait till tomorrow. Let's take a look at the bid and offer again. There may be a chance to buy it even lower than what it is going for today. But if not, then you can still buy today's price tomorrow.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
So
So then
what
I have
that
another
does
question.
for you is by the time you buy lower than you initially bought, you have automatically lowered your average per share price that you bought, which is very good.
Yes,
That's
sir.
something
Because
you are
because
free. A
I
good
first of
stock
all buy
drops
at
in.
the range of. Can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you.
Okay, I first of all buy at the price of 521. So recently it came under the price of 590. So I buy some to average the one I have been holding for some time now. So my average cost is now 514.
Good. If you buy now, depending on the quantity you buy, your average price can drop to under 400 and something,
Okay, sir.
depending on how many you
So
buy. But go ahead.
my other question is this. Currently now, all the both US stock because I buy both on US and Nigeria stock market. Currently now, all price is down. So I want to know if there is some stock I can venture into in for this opportunity.
Let's
Yesterday, I was not
understand.
privileged to be in the meeting on the Network Investor Club meeting on Discord app. I was not in the meeting because the meeting
Okay,
was not
see
able
what
to.
happened.
Yes, sir.
Actually, you can't have a list of stocks now because they all behave differently. So it's by checking live, because this live session is all about a practical session. We are looking at what's happening and reacting accordingly. So if I list some stocks for you now, they might look fantastic for you today and look terrible tomorrow. Or they might look great today and then tomorrow they are no longer great. So part time is what to look at, and that's what I'm looking at. That's why I said Arabelle will be better to wait till tomorrow because you stand a chance of buying it cheaper. Then, of course, a stock like there's a stock I mentioned that one can buy now, and that's talking about for those who are interested in VFDs, dividend and bonus. I think at that price, it's still good to get it, even though eventually after the bonus, it will be marked down. But you know what? They will publish first quarter results, which will help to sustain the price. So we follow them one after the other. For instance, a stock like TIP, if you are going long term, you should take position in TIP, but gradually as well. The strength TIP has displayed today, whether they will have the same strength tomorrow and next up till Friday, you can't tell. But when you look at MTN, I said buy at 226. That's because MTN already continues to close at 245 every day, even though it says lower, meaning the powers that be, the market makers over MTN are working hard to ensure it doesn't drop below 245, whereas people are buying at 226 intraday. So it is with time that we see these opportunities. If Adamu is here today The African Prudential he wanted to buy yesterday at 14 is now available at 12 plus. And so he can buy some today at 12 plus and watch to see what happens on Friday, whether it goes lower. And I said, the longer this whole tariff crash lasts, the lower these stocks will be dropping. Because no one knows how long it will take, no one knows how swiftly things will reverse. You want to pick some that looks very enticing while waiting to see if they drop further. Is that clear, sir?
Yes, sir. Clear, sir. Very clear, sir.
Thank
Thank
you
you
very
very much,
much.
sir. Yeah, thank you, sir.
Okay, guys. VO says, Coach, what's your take on Dangote cement? Let me take a look at Dangote cement. You will agree with me that the big boys all drop anyhow, right? So let's take a look at Dangote cement and know what's happening. Dangote 432 per share, no offer. I mean, no bid, 4 million offers. This thing can continue like this, but Dangote cement will continue to close at 480. So even in the worst market, some of these big companies engage their market makers to ensure that they snap up bids that are more than 100,000 in order not to change the intraday price. You get the point? So currently 432, and it has not traded anything less than this for a long time. So you may want to collect some and watch to see how long the current downtrend of the market lasts. The longer it lasts, the more weary, the more fearful, and the more tired people get, and then they might just be forced to sell further down. Abati Larry says, can someone spell the stock coach is mentioning now, please? What stock do you mean? I said TIP, T-I-P. Is there any other one that you have missed out on? Okay. Engineer Yemi says, please check your DM, sir. I've messaged you since yesterday. All right, I will check. Okay, Adonazin Gayuba. I have already said my views on VFD. You can go ahead and make your decision. Yusuf said, can we still buy Amazon now? Absolutely. Go ahead and buy. I said it, under 200 Amazon is excellent. What about Meta, sir? Real Seal says, and I say, go ahead, buy your Meta. I have DMU coach since yesterday night. Yes, you can see there are so many people I did not respond to because of so many things I needed to attend to. Immediately after the 8 p.m. broadcast, I had to. I know it's sold down to 1040 or 1030 or something like that. There are 6.4 million bids, offers versus 4.7 million bids. So Wema has a tendency of fluctuating very deep when it likes. So it depends on what happens between now and Friday. If it goes below 10 naira, that's a good opportunity to collect it and take 1 naira per share dividend. Coach, Access and Zenith, is it good to buy now? Access may be good to buy. The problem is we do not know what the situation with their finances is. Whereas Zenith, you are very sure. And as a matter of fact, if you see Zenith 46 and below, it's okay to buy. But take note, they will mark down the price. Tresk21 says, hello, I guess you are new here, so I will say a very good afternoon to you and a warm welcome to the live session. Do you have any question? Feel free to ask. We are here because of you. Alfredo says, VFD versus GT Co, which is better to buy now? Depends on what your strategy is. VFD is actually trying to open up into foreign markets, and that's why they did that 5 for 1 bonus to create a much reasonable capital base to match the kind of business they are doing, right? So VFD cannot be easily compared to GT Code that has been there all along and is making a whole lot of money and has built confidence over the years. Olorika says, Coach, good morning and thanks for all you do. Is Honeywell a good buy now? Let's take a look what's happening with Honeywell at the moment. Wow, Honeywell 938. Good God. My good God. 938 cover for Honeywell. Awesome. Can buy Honeywell at 9 naira, why not? You know what? It will even be much more fantastic to hear after you buy at 9 that Honeywell and Flour Mills of Nigeria has now decided that they're going to pay out either 15 naira or 20 naira per share for minority shareholders of Honeywell. See Honeywell 9 naira, grab them. Olamide says, good day, coach. How are you? I'm doing great. Looking for opportunities that the market has offered. Anybody who is not following me, you are the one losing money. Follow me and let's make money this year. So if I buy VFD, do I qualify for the bonus? Absolutely, you do. Not only the bonus, there is a 2 naira 50 kobo per share dividend that has been declared. Imagine 5 for 1 bonus. For every one you have, you get 5 extra. Oh my God. Who told you you can't be rich following me? You see that? 5 for 1. If you have 1 million shares, they are going to give you 5 million shares extra. If you have 100,000 VFD, they are going to give you 500,000 VFD extra. If you have 10,000 VFD, they are going to give you 50,000 VFD extra as bonus. So you now get 60,000 VFD in total. By the way, on the 10,000 VFD you have, you will receive 2 naira 50 kobo per share dividend. So if you have 100,000 VFD times 2 naira 50 kobo, that's 250,000 naira dividend plus 500,000 VFD extra. Wow, come on, say money is easy to make. Type it, go ahead and type it, say money is easy to make. I need these things to drop inside your spirit and chase every devil that is speaking negative thoughts, that it's not easy to make money. Type it, money is easy to make. Spicy Spirit says, how do I purchase these stocks? Hello, Maobi. Please come on board. I need you to talk to Spicy Spirit. And if Spicy Spirit is available, I know this question is in the heart of many others as well. So where is Spicy Spirit? Are you on the queue? I can't find Spicy Spirit on the queue. Okay, I can find Spicy Spirit now. Hello, Spicy Spirit. I want you to engage with Maobi. Your question is very important, especially for many others who are just joining us. Lily Wong's Interior says, how is UACN doing? Very good question. Let's see what's happening with UACN. As of yesterday, we're still targeting and following it. UACN 28 naira 20 kobo. My goodness. I saw this UAC sell for 21 today. Didn't I? Wow. Okay, maybe 26. Hello.
Hi.
Very good
I
afternoon
just
to
wanted
you.
to know how to make the purchase for the stocks. For instance, the
Please tell
Honeywell.
us. Tell us your
Yeah.
name and where you're streaming from. Let's begin with that. It's the house rules here.
Okay. I'm Julie. I'm streaming from Cardiff, Wales.
All right, Julie from Wales, thank you very much for joining. Do you have a Nigerian bank account?
Yes, I do.
Excellent. In that case, you will open a stock brokerage account, and once your account is verified, they will send you your login details and password for you to change the password. Then you get your account funded, then you can go ahead to start trading. Sole purpose for it to rise to 5 naira 50 kobo. The 50 kobo on top is the capital gain. By the time you multiply by how many
Okay.
shares you bought, you have made some money. But short term trading is riskier than long term investing. The second category of people are the investors. They put in money for the purpose of both capital gains and dividend income for the long term. Long term referring to maybe 2, 3 years and above, or 5 years and upwards. But the point is, if you take your time to invest in very good companies for which we always do researches and share information free of charge here, then you are most likely going to benefit from both capital gains and dividends. So a long-term investor is looking to build wealth using the stock market by investing gradually and possibly compounding their returns in their
Yeah.
portfolio. I don't want to get you too overwhelmed with too many of these terms, but to compound simply means maybe you earn dividend from a particular stock. Instead of spending the dividend, you now decide to buy more stocks with your dividend income. Is it
Okay.
clear?
Yeah.
When you buy stocks, you are not just buying what you don't know. You are buying a part of the company shares. So whatever you buy becomes yours. And every time the company declares dividend, as long as you still own those shares, you have your own part. That's why dividend is declared per share. So if you buy 100,000 shares of a particular stock, say MTN, and MTN declares 1 naira per share dividend, it means 1 naira times your 100,000 shares, 100,000 naira comes to you. Should
Okay.
you over time increase the number of shares, that's how whatever they declare per share times your number of holdings comes to you as dividends. By the way, when they continue to create value in the process of doing their business, the stock price will also keep increasing. That's why a stock like UBA 2, 3 years ago was selling for 8 naira per share. As we speak right now, it's selling at 34, 35 naira per share. So if you spent 8 million naira in buying 1 million shares of UBA 3 years or 2 years ago, now your 1 million shares is worth 35 or 36 million if you sell. This is the benefit of investing long term. Research has shown that long term investors make the most money in the market.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. The other question you may want to ask is, how do I now open my own brokerage account? Very simple. Anybody listening to me, just follow me on Instagram, send me a DM. I will forward to you the same platform I use here, because anywhere you are in the world, this platform trading portal from Atlas Portfolios gives you access real-time data live from the stock market. There is no situation of placing an order and waiting endlessly, not knowing exactly what's going on in the market until you get the feedback. In this case, even how to navigate the site is on my YouTube channel. So while you are trying to open your Atlas Portfolios account, when I send you the link via Instagram, you can also go on my YouTube page to watch the video on how to navigate the site. Very simple, straightforward, and the rest of the things you need to know as you keep being a part of the live session and perhaps join us in our Discord platform, things will just fall in line and you begin to
All
make
right.
money with it.
Okay.
I'll
Thank you.
share my Instagram handle.
Is the name on your TikTok the same as the YouTube?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Wealth Coach Omiete, the same on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, the same. I've posted it there for anybody else who needs the link to open their brokerage account. It's also the best in terms of transaction charges. Atlas charges the least and gives you such a fantastic opportunity to invest without struggle. Would that be all?
Yes. Thank
All
you
right.
very much.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. Bye.
Bye. All right, we still have two more callers. Even as time is running out, Gentle Diamond, you are next on the line, and after you shall be Chessing. So, Chessing, just hold on. Let's hear from Gentle Diamond. Salvation Boutique says, what is the fundamentals of RT Briscoe? Please stay clear of RT Briscoe. The fundamentals are not excellent. RT Briscoe rose from 77 kobo to over 3 naira last year, riding on the euphoria surrounding the CNG project, petrol to gas conversion of vehicles in Nigeria. But the fundamentals are not excellent. So stay safe from RT Briscoe. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Good afternoon to you. Go ahead with your name and where you're streaming from.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Chasil. I'm streaming from the Netherlands.
Chasil from Netherlands. It's good to have you. Thank you for joining. Go ahead.
Okay. I have some investments in Nigeria. I bought them a very long time ago.
Could you speak up a bit? It's raining over here, so there's some bit of noise. So I can hear
Okay.
you clearly.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
I have some investments in Nigeria. Many years ago, I opened a brokerage account with a broker who happened to be out of business. I cannot find my CSCS number anymore. I don't remember the companies I bought because I bought a lot of them. So it feels that all those stuff I bought were lost. But because the broker had issues with the Nigerian Stock Exchange, I do not have access to this investment anymore. So one of the questions are, how can I recover all those things back? And my second question is, I tried to open an account with Bamboo or Shaka, something like that, but I never made it. It was never possible for me to start trading. So what I did was to invest in the IBTC money market fund, but I really want to get access to the Nigerian Stock Exchange because I believe that there are some. When I look at what is going on, I think it's actually something that I could, take advantage of, especially now knowing a little about how the market works. So I don't know how you can advise on this.
Okay, great. And this is to everyone out there, do not panic, do not be afraid. When you invest in stocks listed on the stock exchange, you were not investing in any brokerage firm. The broker is just licensed to execute transactions on behalf of investors. In any case, your stocks are warehoused in the Central Securities Clearing System, which is the depository of all stocks being traded on the stock exchange. What will happen now is for you to open a new brokerage account, and I will recommend Atlas Portfolios because they will be there to follow up to the list. They will open an account for you and commence the process of stock share transfer, but you would give them that instruction. Before then also, you will also mandate them to do a global search of all your shares in CSCS. It comes at a very minute fee, depending on how many shares you have, which CSCS charges, not them. So they will do that global search. They will identify all your stocks, the number of shares, and which companies you have. Then, with your instruction, filling the share transfer form, they will move those shares from the old broker's records into your Atlas Portfolios account for you to be able to even view them electronically. Do quotation said so.
Okay, did you call them Atlas portfolio? How do you spell it?
Just send me a DM, ATLASS.
Oh,
Send me a DM, I send you a link to open your account. Everything is done online as long as you have a Nigerian bank and you have a phone number they can contact you through, then it's all done and dusted.
How about capital gain tax in Nigeria? Do you pay that as well?
At the moment, there are no capital gains tax in Nigeria, except if you make a capital gain of about 100 million at once. That's when you are taxed.
Ah, okay. All right. So, but do they open?
You are taxed withholding tax for dividend income, just 10%.
Okay. If you are not resident in Nigeria, you can still open an account, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's good. Thanks very much. I will send you DM on. I'll follow you, and then I'll send you DM
On
on
Instagram.
here. Oh, Instagram. I don't know your same name on Instagram, right?
Yes, everything the same.
Okay, I'll send you a DM there. So if you give me the link, then because I really want to set up that account because currently now I invest with these IBTC money markets. And I really want to take advantage of the Nigerian Stock Exchange and stock markets, actually.
Very good. You know what? A lot of Nigerians in diaspora are not aware that they can easily take advantage of the capital market in Nigeria to do this. In fact, that is what is going to take me to Finland next month. I'll be in Finland talking to some Nigerians and maybe also stop over at Sweden. The Nigerians in diaspora organization, NIDO, in those locations are inviting me to come and have a live session with them.
Yeah.
Many who are winning, but they really do not know what channels, and people can't trust Nigerians based on the reputation that we have all been carrying about. So, but these things are for real. It's happening live, and there are so many others live in this session who are already doing it.
Yeah. I remember I made plenty of money in the stock exchange when 207 or something, 206 or 207 or something or thereabout. Before that big crash.
2007, 2008 market crash.
Yeah. So I remember I was buying like Afriprint, ICO Insurance when they were like 10 kobo or something like that, and they all went. There was another oil company I bought, Eternal Oil, that was 4 naira, and it went to that 7 naira. I made a lot of money then. But then when I left the country, I did not follow up with all of those.
No problems. All of those stocks that you left behind, you will recover them all. And hopefully,
that would be.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Bye. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of today's session. It's already 4 minutes past. I'm so sorry for those who I have not been able to respond to, including the callers, Temple, and I can see Temple and Gabby. Please do well to send me a DM because I need to seriously be offline right now.